Welcome to Ask Huge. I don't know what number it is. Excuse me. I think it's number 4, Quattro. Ich nicht son shi. What other languages do I know? Eins, zwei, drei, vier. Anyway, number 4. Here you go. In all your years of traveling the roads, and I'm at the homestead because I didn't want to take the laptop in the car because this is ridiculous. The car thing is nice, but here we go. Number 1, in all your years of traveling the roads at night, have you ever seen an unidentified flying object? If not, have you ever met somebody who claims to have seen one? Both. Driving through, I believe, New Mexico at night during a Whipping Boy tour. I crested a hill. I don't trust anybody else to drive that post-show to 6 o'clock in the morning drive because you got to drive all night when you're doing these like punishing U.S. tours. So, and we didn't have a driver back then because who thought of that? So you crested a hill, and usually you crest a hill, and then the lights behind you disappear because there was a hill behind you. Jesus Christ, that's the bell. Forget it, ignore it. So you go down, and you don't see anything behind you. Well, we're going on a flat stretch. I can see the lights behind me on a flat stretch. So I see other cars. I see lights behind me. Cars. It's a highway. And all of a sudden they disappear. And the overwhelming sense I got was that there was something large following the van that blocked off everything in my rearview mirror and the side mirrors. And I've never had too many paranormal experiences, but I was just like, in my mind, you're going to have to do better than that. You're going to have to stop the van with magic, walk up to the van and speak to me in a language I understand before I'm buying this. So I just concentrated on staying on the road and made it out alive. And of course, once I did that, looked in the rearview mirror and everything was back again. No hill had been crested. I hadn't done, who knows? I know a buddy who invoked, actually Oxbow's first drummer, invoked a demon, and the demon actually showed up. And I said, what do you do? It was terrifying. I go, oh, you think an intradimensional being who's got an immense power to be able to, yeah. And he goes, I just waited till he left. So that sort of tracks. Second question, there's a phrase you use that he spelled it wrong. Bozhe moi. From context clues, I assume its meaning is similar to oy vey. How do you spell it? It's Russian, and it's Bozhe. It means oh my God. And I picked it up when Leo Lapenda used to be a fight organizer for the World Vale-Tudo Championship. He still owes me $90 from this. Flew me to St. Petersburg, Russia, where I was essentially his Joe Rogan, right? And it was for German TV. So I was interviewing fighters as they came out of the cage. And I just picked it up there with Lub and Nushtu, which I'm sure I'm mispronouncing, and Spasiba, which I'm sure, I like to have those James Brown language skills, just enough to get out of trouble if I've happened to get in trouble. And then the comment that I talked about on the podcast that I said I was going to read, I will read to you now. And let me see if I can find it because she's been sending me a bunch. Let's see. It's great. She goes, I suppose you have to try to think about why a dude wants to fuck someone much younger and therefore less worldly and probably less powerful. She says, I remember having crushes on adult men at 13, hell at 10. I was so innocent and unworldly that I was easy pickings. I wanted to choose my own friends. I didn't want protective interference. It seems there's a difference between being a scumbag idiot taking advantage versus a powerful man planning and executing child exploitation. There is a reason virginity is treated like currency, but it's hard to quantify. Men who are into very young, broken, neglected, unworldly girls are the same in that the intention is to avoid any type of consequence or responsibility involved in adult relationships. They are into the idea of getting off using someone who they think is less powerful. They view sex in a warped way and not just for kinks. They know they are shit and rely on fucking someone who would not and could not know that they are utter garbage. This goes for same-sex situations as well, at least in this day and age, I feel. They only consider their own orgasm that is so much better when it is done to and not with a person they think is weak. It makes them feel better about the type of loser they actually are. These people think everything in the world exists for their pleasure and whim, whether they are a plumber or a president. That's a pretty solid rendering. It's no question, but it was a comment that I want to share. I said I was going to share it on here, and so I did. And then the last question is, since there needs to be three, and by the way, I partially agree with her. I think in most of the instances, every one of the men who have been accused of this have some sort of penile deformation. Harvey Weinstein was described as having been into a car accident. Jeffrey Epstein, same deal. These guys had, Donald Trump had discussed in his first administration that he didn't have a small penis, which of course no other way of saying you have a small penis and by proclaiming loudly that you don't have a small penis. Anyway, I think that's part of it. I think it's multivariate. I myself have never had a preference or a predilection for younger women. They're in the mix, but usually like maybe the dummy scumbags that she was talking about, I didn't pay attention to. And when I was 19, when she was 14, and it was punk rock days, so who knows? But do I qualify as a piece of shit under the aforementioned definition of a piece of shit? I'm talking about the Substack. Yes, I do. So I qualify as a piece of shit. So and then the last question is. Dr. Oz asserts that Donald Trump believes diet soda is good for him, quote, because it kills grass if poured on grass, so therefore it must kill cancer cells inside the body, close quote. If the combination of soda and fast food were to cause the president to expire of natural causes before the end of his term, would JD Vance be favored to win the 2028 presidential election? I go, not a snowball's chance in hell. Anyway, he's a stooge, a couch fucking stooge, and, it's purposeful. Guys like Donald Trump are not interested in successors. We can see this with Hitler. Take a drink. They didn't have a real bona fide. What do you think? The Donuts was a real successor. He didn't want anybody to outshine him. Thought he was going to live forever. Wanted to live forever. And that's why, thank goodness, most people can't live forever despite the best efforts of Peter Thiel. Anyway, thanks for listening. This is number 4. Try to tune in on Sunday. Give it a thumbs up. Click it, like it. It'll notify you when the show's about to happen. Look what you made me. Oh, shit, I'm choking to death. I haven't eaten all day. What am I choking on? Look at what you made me do.